This conference will now be recorded.
Hey everybody, this is Tammy D with the SafeMoneyTrends.com website, and you know me from uh, other places, other venues, I should say. I am a licensed agent in Texas, Arizona, and California, but I don't like to sell as much as you guys do. I like to help you guys sell more, and I hate to bring this up again, but I had so many people asking my opinion on, well, all the time people are asking me my opinion on different marketing tools because they know that I buy a lot of these, or I test them out, or I use them myself. So they ask me, is it worth it? Blah, 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 blah. And I got a couple in my email recently, and I want to look at one today because I've already done a video on something similar. If you go to the Safe Money Trends on YouTube. If you look that up, Safe Money Trends on YouTube, you will find a video called The Trifecta of Marketing. Okay, so I want you to go when you get a chance and go look at that one. That was more like a big dig down into the trifecta of marketing. And I think you'll find it's somewhat amusing and a little entertaining, but it does give you some great information. And also, you'll be able to see the similarities between those, which is what I really want to talk to you about today. So somebody sent me an email that had an attachment, and they said there's this big marketing push for, guess who, our friends again at annuity.com. Now, those of you know me know that I have some issues stemming from a lot of different things with annuity.com, but mainly that they do not ever, or in my history, which goes back to 2007, they end up talking a good talk, presenting a slick presentation, but they don't deliver on what they promise. Now, as you know, originally annuity.com was associated with Aegis Marketing, one of the other FMOs. They're just all over the place, these things. And Anthony Owen, right? And so Tony Owen kind of got this model going where he presented himself as a big time producer. I could tell you a lot about that that I know for a fact, but it's basically that his brother Chad was great at insurance, and Tony was okay at managing it, and kind of, stole a lot of the glory, and it has nowhere near the knowledge base that you would think that a top producer would have, right? This is my opinion here, but he didn't earn his stripes. And so, but he was able to convince people, that he is this big shot producer and had all these affluent annuity clients and blah 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 blah. And then he started his own little academy. I can't even Agents Academy, something like that. I don't remember. He started this academy where he would tell these agents, if you pay me, you can get all the tools and knowledge. You can camp in my brain and rent out space in my brain. So, I don't know what he was charging, but it wasn't cheap. And he would do these dog and pony shows. They would come up there and they would tell agents, hey, you can be just like me and make gazillions of dollars in insurance and annuities. And all you have to do is follow, my school, right? So he got that model. I mean, it's not an original model. A lot of people have done that over the years. Um, not I don't have a problem with the model. It's just that it wasn't based on reality, right? So fast forward, he builds up his business on the backs of these agents. They're submitting business. Maybe they're taking a tiny haircut on their commission. I don't know. Everybody's contracts are different, but maybe they're doing it to just to be able to work with the great ones, right? So he builds it up and then he sells out to Integrity. Well, I had some issues with that, and I made a video spoof about the whole Integrity. I called them the pack agency. They were buying up everything. They still are, to my knowledge, but they're buying up. So, in other words, this was kind of like a pump and dump over the long term. So he exited, became a quote unquote VP or whatever they call them with Integrity, and sold Annuity Agents Alliance, right? So we know that. I'm bringing you up to speed on this in case you don't know the background. So then Bill Birch had to go somewhere else. I'm sure that this is what happened, is that eventually Aegis said, look, we're no longer affiliated with Tony. He sold out. Blah blah blah. We don't want to be the purveyor or the beneficiary of annuity.com anymore. Okay, so and this, again, a lot of this is speculation, but it's based on my inside knowledge of how this stuff works. And this is my theory. My theory is they came up with this trifecta of marketing, and they asked me to participate originally, and I said no, this is garbage, and again, watch the video and you'll see why I think it was garbage, but I said no. And eventually that sort of imploded in on itself, not just necessarily because I wouldn't do it, but because people weren't buying into it. I think they were trying to charge agents $1,000. I don't know. It was crazy. It was a crazy model to begin with. But they had these agents convinced that they could do what no other FMO, IMO, whatever marketing entity could do, which is make them famous and rich in short order, right? So, they dangled out that very juicy carrot, and a lot of agents this time around with Trifecta didn't buy into it. So what are you going to do with this? Basically all you own is a .com. You own a website that is old. Okay, that's really important with Google. It's an aged website. Okay, and so it just by default gets a lot of traffic. So you own a website that gets a lot of traffic. Now, you don't go into detail. You don't do any kind of surveys or anything to find out what kind of traffic that is. It may not be consumer. It's probably mostly agents. As a matter of fact, when they started annuity.com, the goal was to make a place to entice agents to come and join their hierarchy and stuff, right? So it was like, ooh, look at us. We own annuity.com. Come work for us, and you too can benefit. Okay, so that was how it was positioned. It never occurred to them that they were going to use it as some sort of lead generation tool, and they would occasionally get leads, and they would parcel them out to the favorites, and you're going to see that today. So I'm going to show my screen, and we're going to go through this, what the current iteration of Trifecta is. And this goes back to Safe Money Radio, which I repent that I helped them promote that, because initially it was a good idea. Initially, Safe Money Radio had a lot of merit. It was turnkey. Most agents don't want to do what it takes to really start building up a radio show from scratch. They're not Howard Stern. They have no interest in that. They just want the leads, right? That's really what they want. They don't want to peel the oranges and cut them in half. They just want the juice. So they gave the juice, and I, bought into that. I thought it was a great idea. And for some people, it worked out well, but for the majority, it didn't. Okay. So same people that are doing this, and don't be fooled when they say, oh, I'm just an agent now, or I'm just a satisfied user of the product. I'm not intimately involved, because most of the time that's not true. They're still running behind the scenes like a bad virus. So if you had issues before, they're not going to go away. All right, so let's look at this thing, and just so I can answer your questions about it. Okay, so let me share my screen. There we go. Okay. So I guess you're seeing that. Okay. So, all right. So we're sharing the screen now, I assume. And and the first thing you see is that dude with the cowboy hat. Okay. Now let's talk about him. He always wondered, why did I have a bone to pick with him? Because in the beginning of Roy Snar's, this is Roy Snar, Roy S. Okay, as if you're not going to know, it's Roy Snar. Now he's in Texas, but putting a hat on your head is not being a Texan. Okay, I take offense at that. He's from California, and I knew his story because I interviewed him once a long, long time ago, and he didn't know diddly when I interviewed him about the business. He even admitted to me that he was kind of raw. And then all of a sudden now he's a super producer. And I am postulating, okay, I'm just postulating here that the reason he's become such a superstar is simply because he's riding on the coattails of Tony Owen. And somebody told me that they went to a couple of these meetings they had in Denver. And sure enough, he's following around Anthony Owen like a little puppy dog, doing everything, imitating him. And not surprisingly, he comes up with this brilliant idea that he's going to do a training school as well and charge agents $97 a month. So you have to ask yourself, though, why would you be charging if you're going to contract agents eventually, or try to anyway, right? A little side income. Do you need that? Or is it just, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery? Could be all of the above. But the point is, as a Texan, I was offended that people think they can just go to Texas, put on a hat, and suddenly they're this cowboy. But the real deal here is this photoshopped hat because he didn't like his bald head showing. So anyway, the hat is ridiculous. I've made fun of the hat on multiple occasions. And a white hat would, if you're going to wear one, wear a black hat. Okay. So early, he says early on, I recognized the value of owning an asset and not just selling as a job. Isn't that sweet? And I was introduced to annuity.com's philosophy of partnering with agents, making them owners. I was all in. Okay, that first of all, that's not exclusively in annuity.com's philosophy. It's, as someone pointed out to me, Keller Williams, the real estate giant, does the same kind of thing. Many companies attempt to do this. The only thing I'm going to ask you is if you're taking a little bit of a shave off the commissions to get quote unquote stock in a company, you better really vet it out because chances are you're never going to see those gains. Okay. This has been the case in Silicon Valley and it's been the case all over. If you look into quote unquote initial public offerings, people get excited about them, but only a handful of people make money off of it. So if you were putting aside your commissions for that, if you are doing extra work to make that happen so that someday you can cash in, you better pay attention because it's probably not going to happen, especially in this case, because the product is something that, what is the product? It's annuity.com. The website, is that a product? Or do they have a verifiable something that you could look at that shows their profit and losses and their potential growth and how many leads they're generating for agents and stuff like that? You better look at all that. You better ask questions if you're thinking about doing this. I'm not telling you what to do. It's your money, okay? But what I am saying is make sure you ask questions. Don't get taken in by the glitz and the BS and the hype and the anecdotes. Ask to see real results. And chances are you're not going to get that. Okay, so we're going to build an agent first company worth billions. Garbage. They think they're going to overtake integrity. Maybe the plan, I don't know. Maybe the plan is to build this up on your hard work. And then when they get to a certain point, they're either going to sell out or be forced to sell out to integrity, or they're going to do an initial public offering. But I'm telling you, 25% of nothing is still nothing. Okay, so do the math. Annuity.com founding agent, which means that they probably conned poor Roy. Now I'm going to be on his side in this, because it's easy to con agents a lot of times. But poor Roy got conned into kicking in some money or some equity, or maybe he gave away part of his hierarchy. I don't know what went down. I don't care. But when you see founding agent, you know that he put some blood into this, right? To this turnip that, in my opinion, is going to remain a turnip. All right. Now, enter John S. I don't know who John S. is, but he met Bill and Brett probably at one of those dog and pony shows in Denver or Boise or wherever they have them, and was so entranced by the story they spin that he decided he should join a well-known FMO, but he joined them instead. So I'm not really clear on that. But anyway, uh, choose ownership. Okay. Again, this is a model that's thrown out there by Integrity too. You get to be an owner, you get to have a little slice of the pie. Now, I think Integrity has the money and the financial backing to pull it off, but I don't think these people do. They may have a couple of $100,000, some poor sucker kicked in, but so the annuity.com advantage, you're going to earn more, work less. They always promise us that as agents, right? Earn more money, work a lot less, sit on the beach and, sell policies on your computer. It rarely happens, okay? It's sort of like me saying if you go to Hollywood often enough and audition, you're going to get your own sitcom. What are the chances, right? So full street, you get full street commission from day one, cap the company. Wow. When you produce 5 million, they're going to pass along all the marketing dollars, right? They're just going to give you this money to do whatever. Chances are it's going to be money that can only be spent on their companies or people that are affiliated with them. But maybe there's no restrictions, but still, what are the odds that you're going to, no. I'm skeptical. Okay. So stock awards, this is the part that gets me. And we offer stock awards for agents year after year as they qualify. You can earn $250 worth of worthless stock, my opinion, when you submit a $100,000 application. Experienced agents earn $1,000 in stock when they produce $1 million. Now, let's talk a little bit about IPOs. At the suggestion of a friend of mine, I went and talked to some people who've actually had real companies, that make things, and they took them public. And they were honest with me in the process. And here's essentially how it can work. It doesn't always work this way, but Bill and Joe decide to start a company, and they're making widgets, and their widget is so extraordinary, and everyone looks at it and goes, "Wow!" And then they say, "Bill and Joe, your company's not scalable. We need to take it public. We need to, get a lot of investors in this." And Bill and Joe say, "Okay," and they start recruiting people to invest in their company, to actually invest sweat equity, right? You've heard of that, sweat equity. And these people are working their butts off for nothing or next to nothing for, 40, 50-hour days, or whatever they tell you. It's really horrific. It's like being an intern in a hospital for a doctor. It's just all the time. So these people work to build that company up, and soon they have talented programmers and designers and stuff working on the company and working for the chance to own stock or stock options or whatever, so that they can, cash in when the day comes that the company goes public. Could be 2 years, could be 5 years, could be 10 years, but they're hoping for that day because they're going to become multimillionaires. They've seen it on TV. What really happens is these companies have to go around and get investment money, right? They can't exist just on sweat equity. So they go out and get private capital. Okay. And the private capital comes from a variety of places, but the angel investors, you've heard of those people, and they put money in, but they take part of the company in exchange. We've all seen Shark Tank, right? You see how it works. That's on a superficial level. That's how it works. They say, "I want 51% of the company," and it goes back and forth. Okay, so they want a controlling interest. They want to be the CEO. A lot of times they're happy to get, to be in charge of the board of trustees or whatever, the board. So, they could be the secretary depending on how much money they kick in, and they get titles, they get power, they get voting rights, but most importantly, they get first when it goes public. Guess who gets paid first, right? It's those people, the people who put money in, not the sweat equity people, not the people who wrote a few policies, and you know, took a less commission in order to get stock options or stock in the company. It doesn't happen, right? Hardly ever. Ask anybody. I mean, I know a lot of people at Facebook when they went public, because I'm from the Bay Area originally, and I knew people that worked there, and they did not get super wealthy. Okay, so put that out of your head. Could it happen? Yes, anything can happen. You know, I mean, a 500-pound woman can marry, a dashing prince. I mean, it could happen, but it's not very probable, right? And hopefully, if you're a financial person, you're existing on, more on what you know than what you speculate, right? You're not taking that risk. But again, I'm not telling you that it works this way for this particular instance. I'm just saying in general, IPOs screw over the people who built the company and enrich the angel investors. Right? So, does this new annuity.com Inc. have an angel investor? Well, I think they do. This is pure speculation, but all of a sudden, Bill Broach is no longer the CEO. I think he might be, I don't know, he's still in there. I don't know what his role is, but he's been trying to sell this stinker for years, ever since I've known him, like way back in 2007. I could tell you a million times when that topic came up. So he finally convinced someone he's got something hot and something exciting, and then he's going to build this super bazillion agency that's going to make Patrick Bet David jealous. So this guy that is suddenly the new CEO, my speculation, I guess, is that he ponied up a couple $100,000 or more to get it started, to get this started. The startup, the seed money. And he gets for his efforts, he gets a title and he gets some worthless stock. Or right now it's worthless. And he gets a lot of promises, and he's been taken in by a great looking presentation and slick people who've been doing this for years. Okay. So he's now there. I think his name is Blake something. He's now the CEO of annuity.com, which that and $10 will get you a cup of coffee in downtown LA. So let's go. Now you notice again, here's the baked in Roy Snar, Anthony Owen, many people model of mentoring. So you're going to get more than just stock. You're going to get mentoring from the most successful agents in the business. Why they would want to tell you anything is beyond me. So whatever this is probably not going to be free to you. It's just going to be accessible, and you get to work with these super agents. Why would a super agent, ask yourself this, why would a super agent, unless they're really dumb about investing, why would they move all their contracts over to a startup, an upstart startup? I don't know. On top of the cash compensation, mentors earn $500 in annuity.com stock every time they help a new agent, right? Well, I'm going to tell you, Annuity Gator also uses this kind of model. And guess what? It's a lot more successful. And if you look up Sean Sparkman on Safe Money Trends website, you'll see he's one of their most successful agents, and he does a lot of mentoring for free. He does he does the right thing. And so Annuity Gator, they're very picky about who they hire. They're not out to just clean up in the market. And their model is very similar to this. But guess what? I have talked to about 10 Annuity Gator agents, and the leads they do get, they don't get a lot of leads, which tells me that they're better than average, because it's hard to get leads. I don't care what they tell you off the internet. It's very hard to get good ones. So one guy told me he closed, like 7 out of 10 leads that Annuity Gator sent him. They were good leads. I actually interviewed a couple of the leads. If you go to safemoneytrends.com and you look up Sean Sparkman on there, or there's one with a lady named Claire, lovely lady. Guess what? She was a lead from Annuity Gator. This is the kind of person you want. Okay. So they're ripping off. There's nothing new here. It's all derivative. Agency builder program, blah, blah. They all have that. They all say they're going to help you build your agency. Is your agency built? Did the FMO do it? Did an IMO do it? I didn't do it. I don't claim to do it. You know what I do? I write content that's unique to you, not AI generated and customizable. That's my primary thing. That's what I do. Is I make you look really good as a ghostwriter. I don't give you presented by AI generated edited articles. Basically the content on annuity.com is garbage now. It's esoteric. It really, I don't, other than buying a ton of Facebook ads, I don't see how they're going to use that to get leads. Maybe they are, but where are those leads going? We'll get to that in a minute. So the annuity.com advantage, you get leading marketing support. Yeah, right. Free annuity.com leads. Now, this is what I want to get into. Unless if they're asking you, for example, I think the way this is going to work is you're going to have a retire village that you're going to have to pay for, a retire village. You're going to want to drive traffic to that site. Also, you're probably going to upload your own contacts, which is a danger in and of itself. Okay. So think about this. You are basically giving them access to your contacts and you have no idea about their security system. You have no idea how they're going to use them. In fact, I was told by an insider that in the first iteration of Retire Village, they actually, if an agent left them, they wanted to, I'm saying that they succeeded, but they wanted to take their contacts. So if you, Joe Blow agent, uploaded 5,000 contacts in the system that were yours, right? And you were using the drip system to contact these people, and you decided, I'm going to go to a different IMO, FMO, whatever. I'm going to leave. They actually wanted to download at one point your contacts. Kind of scary. Not only is your client data at risk in something like this, but it's also, that's just garbage. They want to market to the contacts that you paid for. Is it working like that now? I don't know, but I do know that they are pretty much engaged in spamming at this point in time. Now that may change, but someone I know is surreptitiously on their list. A couple of people that I know are sending me the stuff that they're sending out, and I can't see Google being happy with that. So that's just an aside. That's the just-in-time automated email, right? The just-in-time automated email. That's the drip. That's the drip. So the idea is that you send people to your page on annuity.com or Retire Village or whatever, and you bother to drive the traffic, and there's a booklet they can get, right? It's an old model, but it's been spiffed up a little bit. So you go to annuity.com and you send that person, Pam. You send Pam to annuity.com. Pam fills out the book and you get the lead. Well, if you drove the traffic, isn't that your lead? What have they done other than provide you with a booklet that you could have done yourself? What have they done that makes that a lead they can, quote unquote, give you? Think about it. Now, could there be organic traffic that floats across your page? Yes. If somebody's searching for Joe Blow and they see that right up, you'll see annuity.com because it's old. It's an old website. It will come up on the front page almost every time. So here's Joe Blow on the front page. Somebody clicks on it. They go to your page there and they say, oh, there's a booklet. I want that. And they fill it out. Is there any way to guarantee that you are getting that lead every time, or is it going into a central database? This is what I suspect. I can't prove it yet. I will. But eventually, does it go to a central database where someone else gets to cherry pick it and give it out to the super agents? In other words, are the super agents getting a leg up over the garden variety agents, right? Probably so. It was like that in the past, where the person that was in control of the lead got to pick them. They go, oh, well, oh my God, there's somebody in a really cool zip code in Texas. Let's send it to Roy Snar. So we know this happened. Maybe not to Roy particularly, but some agent they liked, right? And the reason, and the way you know that these are the way you know is if you go onto nudie.com and you look at our experts, they're almost all the same people that I started with way back, right? Same group of 10, 15 agents. So that tells me the reason they stay in is they're getting special treatment and they're probably getting the pick of the litter here. Okay. So you might be driving traffic that is getting a lead for someone else, or even worse, you might be sending one of your actual prospects from a seminar or something to someone and they end up getting them as a client. It's not cool. So that aside, maybe this is not how they're doing it. Maybe they're doing it completely fair. I don't know. I'm suspicious. Okay, online marketing and reputation management. Okay, this is that thing of it's recycled again from Trifecta and from even before that. What was it called? I can't remember. I've done this so many times, but this is like it's this. You can paint crap and you can modify it and you can put a glossy. You could bedazzle it with a machine, make it sparkle, but it's still crap, right? Uh, so it's the same stuff. Okay, online marketing, reputation management. They're going to give you social media. Big deal. Is that where your prospects are best found? Probably not. People are pushing back against all this digital stuff. They don't know if your AI are real, and there's been so much data theft lately and breaches. I don't think so. And I like social media. I mean, it's good for some things. It's good for getting people, for example, on a webinar that you produce. But you have to know how to use it, and it's not going to probably get you the highest quality either, because really wealthy people and people that are doing things in the world, they're busy. They're doing stuff. They're out. They're at places. They're meeting. They're doing conventions, whatever. They're not sitting around on Facebook posting memes all day. Most of them, maybe Elon Musk, but he's different. Annuity.com, I say so social industry leading social media marketing. If they tell you this, you should say, prove it. Show me the industry leading social media marketing. Show me the results. Give me a person who will honestly tell me how much they invested in time, effort, and money in social media and actually got great results. Okay. They might be getting you to buy Facebook ads. If you look at Brian over at annuitystraighttalk.com, he is at a level. He's really making bank. He's a solo practitioner. He does not have a hierarchy. He doesn't have stock options in every company. He's just an annuity guy with a great podcast. He's honest with people. They love it. And he likes to, actually engage with his prospects and clients. But the number one thing he does is he spends over $2,000 a month in Facebook. And he tells me, and he's been doing it for years, he says, if you don't spend at least that much, you're not going to get good results. So if they're telling you you have to spend less than that, you may not get the kind of results you want. So it could be Facebook advertising, could be LinkedIn advertising. I don't know. You research, reputation management is you're found online and maybe you have a little blip. Maybe your company did something slightly dishonest and you got snared into it and it really wasn't your fault. Okay, I can empathize with that. I know several agents that happened to. It's not a problem. But they also have cleaned up some people that obviously did some shady stuff too in the past. And the way they do that is just by bombarding with content. And the content on safe, because annuity.com comes up so high, they can put a lot of stuff on there with your name on it. And but what are people really seeing when they go there? I should go there, huh? Okay, let's see. No, you can go to annuity.com on your own and look. Just look at the content. There's what you're seeing is presented by, not authored by, not even ghostwritten. It's presented by. That doesn't have as much authority, number one. Number two, what is the content? It's pretty lightweight, under 600 words. I think most of the things maybe a little bit more, but there's nothing controversial. There's nothing exciting. There's nothing but parroting the same old annuity things over and over again. I'm trying to get away from that myself. I'm trying to make things a little more interesting on safemoney.com. But the number one thing that I do differently is to give authorship to the advisor. So it says by Stan Smith, by Joe Blow. It doesn't say presented by or contributed by, unless they ask for that. Some advisors do ask for that for various compliance reasons or whatever. Um, you know, and so what does it tell people? It doesn't tell them anything. It doesn't really demonstrate you as an expert. How does that demonstrate that you have expertise? I think a better thing for most advisors would be just to do a cinema verite video, a short video. Like, how do they calculate the interest rate for blah, blah? What are the tax implications of an annuity? Okay, you want to talk about those things? Are those questions people are asking? Because you should do a little research and find out, and it's easy to do. What questions are people asking? Maybe they're saying, should I include precious metals in my portfolio? Should I trust blah blah? How do I recover from debt? Okay, if they're asking those questions, then you answer them in a little video format, and then you promote your own video, which goes to your own website, right? That's the only way you can control leads. Honestly, I don't care. A company could be sending you 3 or 4 leads, but they're really generating 10 off your efforts. So the only way you can control it is to control your content. And if you don't own the content, you own zilch. Okay, just understand that, regardless of what they tell you. Traditional marketing, they have decades of success with radio, newspaper, direct mail, and seminar marketing. No, they don't. They have some guys that are just naturally good at this and can do it, that have success, right? They have success. Most of the people for example, that I talked to about Safe Money Radio, that late lamented thing that, I don't know, are they still doing that? But the Safe Money Radio, most of the people told me they had horrible results. One guy I knew in the greater Los Angeles area spent, I think, $30,000 or $40,000 and got no leads from it. No leads, right? It was on at the wrong time slot. They overpaid for their time. They didn't market it. They didn't, it was a mess, right? So I know a few of those people that wasted that much money doing Safe Money Radio. So for every one success, I would estimate there were 25 people that didn't get any, they got next to nothing or nothing for all that money and time they spent, okay? And I'm not saying that some of them weren't impatient, because usually if you've got a good thing, a good marketing tool, within 6 months, you will know it's going to work. And some of them, 6 weeks, they were broke because they spent so much money on this thing. They were broke, and and I have copies also of the Safe Money contracts, and there's just all kinds of traps in there and pitfalls for people. So if you want to talk more about that, let me know. I have a couple of people actually that want to come on my podcast, which is an occasional podcast. I have people that want to come on and talk about their bad experiences and how they kind of got ripped off, right? So that's the success they've had at radio. They've had a few people who are good at it, that happen to have a great market, that happen to be good at selling, and they became the superstars, right? This is like everything. This is like the weight loss commercials you have, where Jane lost 450 pounds on, the Slim Quick diet or whatever, and then you see the fine print underneath: results not typical, blah 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 blah. Even Oprah, okay, Oprah, who said she lost all the weight with Weight Watchers, came to confess that she was using weight loss drugs as well. So yeah, results not typical. That's what you got to keep in the back of your head when you're hearing this garbage. And I know they had a recent webinar, and what's the company's name? ECA or something. I'm not sure what the company name is. Let me see if I can find that. But the new marketing company is not Aegis. or maybe they're ageist in disguise. I don't know, but they don't appear to be ageist. They're out of Minnesota somewhere, and they're the poor suckers that got tasked with using this tool or buying this tool or renting this tool or whatever to lure agents into contracting. Now, I'm not saying they're not good. I'm not saying they don't have good things to offer. Maybe they do, but they still are involved in this contract. So let me go back. Let's go back to this. So, traditional marketing, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so fixed annuities is their big thing. And I can remember when Bill Broach used to tell me he hated insurance companies and he didn't trust them and he didn't really want to deal with insurance. But you'll see they've had a change of heart when they realized they were leaving money on the table and that many of their agents are indeed selling life insurance and just want to do annuities right on the side or whatever. Blah, blah, or vice versa. Blah, 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 blah. This is what they do. The same products as everyone else, right? Just remember this. FMO and IMOs have all the same products. There are some, like I mentioned, Annuity Gator, that actually have better technology than some of the other IMO FMOs. There's some boutique ones that have unusual seminars or events that they market that could really work for some agents. But by and large, it's all the same stuff, right? Blah, 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 Wichita National Life. Oh, look at this. There's the fixed annuity carriers. And then guess what? The change of heart with life insurance. I used to suggest that we emphasize more life insurance, and I was told I don't trust insurance companies. Well, insurance companies also issue annuities, duh. So what's the difference, as far as I mean, we know what the difference in the products is, but what we don't know is what's the difference between, you don't trust Lafayette Life for life insurance, but you might trust them for annuities, or if they even wrote them. I don't know. But anyway, our partnership with ECA, that's what it is, ECA Marketing. So they're the whatever, FMO, IMO, whatever they call themselves. Annuity.com specializes in premium financing, something that they wouldn't touch in the past. Now, life settlements, don't ever do life settlements with anyone else but my guy, Mark Lurkey, because he's the only one I trust. Business markets, estate planning and wealth transfer concepts, as if. And infinite banking. Oh, see, that was one that they used to downplay and make fun of. Infinite banking. So if you're an infinite banking person, they're trying to tell you that all of a sudden they've become experts at marketing that concept. Garbage. Final expense in all traditional life insurance. So they're going to do term, they're going to do accident, they're going to do everything. Now, some of you are going to say, wait a minute, Tammy, you said you would never work for an IMO, FMO, but I noticed that you did throw in with ohshitidie.com and some, those guys over there at whatever they call themselves. But the main reason I did that was I had agents that wanted to work with them. And I said, look, if I'm going to help you guys, I was dumb all these years not to get a piece of the pie in addition to what I was being paid. So I went ahead and contracted, but I'm not that enthusiastic and I'm not that behind it. I'm not trying to recruit. As a matter of fact, the only thing I've tried to recruit for recently on a very serious level is health insurance, because I think health insurance is changing and people are interested in it. It's a great marketing leverage. It's a great leverage for marketing, because it gets people's attention, and got a good product that's good for people that are leaving the workforce a couple of years before they start Medicare and have to find some insurance, and it's prohibitively expensive, but they have a great product that's less expensive and more comprehensive in the coverage. And I've always loved the idea of, people being able to make more commission selling life or selling health insurance. So that's a company I did get behind. They're very small and they're very boutique, but they have some great technology and some great products. And they also actually help agents. They actually sit down with serious agents and show them how to sell this. So that's what I've been doing lately, but it's not my main focus. And it's Recruiting's not my main focus. My main focus is to help you as an agent or advisor get found easily, quickly, and create content that you can send out and slowly get the trust of these people. Okay. Seniors as a whole, if you work with seniors, they're not very, they don't trust people anyway. You know, and do you blame them? People are getting their identity stolen every day, and they're getting scams. They're getting scams on the phone and in the email and everything else. So I'm going back to some old school ways to connect with people, and I'm very much a niche, right? I'm not trying to compete with annuity.com. I don't want to, but I don't want my agents to get suckered in to something that is ultimately not going to benefit them. And again, it's my opinion. I just don't think this is going to pan out the way they're presenting it. So anyway, yeah, you got they're into the life insurance space. Oh my God, all these things, all these things. I'm not sure if ECA is part of Integrity. I'm going to find out, but I'm guessing it either is or it's been eyeballed by Integrity. They're trying to basically buy everybody up. You're going to get agent education. Well, you're not going to get it for free. According to one of my agents, he was approached about that, and it was like $97 a month or something. Personal phone assistance, online contracting. Everybody's got that. You know, newsflash. Individually assigned contracting administrator. That sounds fancy. That's just somebody to this is an online system. It's the same one I used when I contracted. It's not anything that everybody doesn't have. Online term applications, got that too. EOS is a good example. They've been doing it for years. New business processing. They're saying they're going to give you a good back office, but you know, if they don't, you shouldn't even be contracted with them. That's the only reason you give them a little piece of your commission in the first place. They have even more advantages. Look at all the advantages. They got a portal where you can see your cases. SPIA quoting. They don't want you to sell SPIAs anyway. They want you to sell their whatever high commission fixed products. Programs, 50 carriers. Do you see anything that stands out to you as extraordinary? This is just the basic package for an FMO IMO. 20 experienced annuity and life consultants. Okay, they got suckers working for just like Aegis had, you know, trying to do recruiting and getting to know you and selling you more marketing that you won't use. Underwriting assistance, you have your own in-house underwriter. Whoa. Now, here's this guy, Brett Blake. Don't know much about him. Couldn't find a lot about him, which is kind of troubling if you're investing in this, right? You want to know who the CEO really is. Don't see a lot about him. He doesn't have a lot of online presence. I mean, there's a little LinkedIn, but it doesn't really tell you a lot. But I'm guessing that he loaned money to these people. He gave some money somehow. They smelled money, and the principals behind annuity.com can smell a dollar underneath 10 mattresses. They're good. So they went after this guy, and I'm sure he kicked in money, and they gave him a title, CEO, and they probably gave him a big chunk of stock. Again, nothing from nothing is nothing, right? They throw the God thing in there. I love it. Okay, I love it. You can get away with anything if you just throw God or Jesus in there, which is terrible. It's terrible. Isn't that using the name of the Lord in vain? I mean, honestly, if you're trying to gloss everything over with religion to hide the flaws, you're doing something wrong. So do the right thing. We believe in doing what is right, even if it comes at a fine. No, they don't want to lose any money. Blah, blah, blah. Abundance mentality. Yeah. Where did these things come from? You know, are they copying off some MLM website? I don't know. Owners wanted. Okay. So here we have, once again, the the amazing Bill Broach. He could tell you he sold it, but he'd still be running it. I don't know how that works, but he met Brett in 2023, probably smelled some money somewhere, and he was ready to retire. He reached his goal of becoming the first to sell 100 million in annuities. Prove it. Prove it. Prove it. I loved working with agents and helping the next generation succeed, because if he sold 100 million in annuities, you'd think, well, why does he have to go looking for more money to start this company? Why doesn't he just pull it all out of his gigantic, ginormous bank account? Why does he have a history of not paying people or leaving them to dangle? This is just what I know. People have told me. But he's not retiring. That means he's going to be running this show, this sham. My opinion again. I can't imagine missing out on what annuity.com has to offer. What? And I believe you can't either. You deserve to reap the rewards flowing so freely to the owners of the agencies around us. Yeah. You're going to get sold out. You deserve to build an asset you can sell to fund your retirement or leave to your family. You deserve the opportunity to associate with really high quality advisors and mentors that are already gathering. They're gathering it sounds like a cult, under the annuity.com brand. Brett and I are building the most agent-friendly marketing organization in the world. And you deserve to be part of it. Think twice. I'm not retiring until I know we have turned tens of thousands of advisors into owners with assets that will fund their dreams. Well, if you're making any money, if you've been in this business more than 10 years, I'm assuming that you have made at least a little bit of money, or you would be doing it still. And the easiest way is to, if I had excess money, I'd just be investing it in assets yourself that you control, not banking on them to build up a company that one day they're going to sell it and you're going to, roll in the dough. That may not ever come. And I don't think it can come less than 5 years from now at the very least. And the economy's imploding all around us at the same time. You do realize that, right? Are you telling your clients to get out of debt? Not, and it's just, I don't see this happening. There's no way the economy isn't going to take a turn. So what's going to happen then? What happens if everything goes digital? What happens if the United States decides to nationalize healthcare or life insurance, or even auto insurance, which is getting harder and harder to get? What happens if that happens? What happens to your investment? I don't know. I'm not fear-mongering here. I'm just telling you, take an unvarnished look. I don't go out and push my services, but they're available to you. And you can call me and we can consult, and you can ask me all kinds of hard questions. I don't care. I want to work with good people. If you're good people, I want to work with you. And I want to help you every way I can. But I'm not promising you rainbows and sunshine and unicorns with sparkly horns. It's not reality. I'm promising you that we will take what you have to work with money-wise and try to make the best use of it possible. And in doing so, the hope is you will get some good clients out of it that will make it worth your while, that you will have fun again working in insurance, that you won't have to wear a fake white cowboy hat to get people, on your side, that you will have a good reputation and that you will be a good person. This is what I'm trying. And I have not gotten very much respect for that. As a matter of fact, if I were of a mind to, I could show you letters from the supposedly good Christian people behind this, emails that were vituperative and insulting to me and to all of you as agents. So my goal in this is to be an activist and to keep you from making mistakes with your marketing money that you will not recover from and you will regret, right? Just as your mission should be helping seniors do the right things with their money to keep it safe and protected and to make sure they don't make crucial mistakes, right? So if you're that kind of person, call me up in my office someday. It's 951 658 0492. Again, area code 951 658 0492. I'm on the West Coast for some reason. I can't quite bring myself to leave yet. But be careful about joining the agent revolution, okay? Take care.